like to think about it in terms of two main types of personality assessments. There are the self-report inventories and then the projective tests. Now, I'm not talking about 360 feedback because that's not what we're calling, that's not really what a personality assessment is. That's feedback on how people experience you. So we'll leave that out. But in these self-report inventories, they're really the general, widely used personality assessments that are out there. They are things that you would have heard of and known because they're widely used, called the Myers-Briggs type indicator, or MBTI. Enneagram is out there. All of those are general personality assessments that are out there. Um, What's interesting, though, is how they were developed, when they were developed, and part of scientific research is that we learn and build on. You've heard the phrase stand on the shoulders of giants. So there's a lot that was originally formulated and then we've learned over time. And that's where a lot of thinking goes into whether or not MBTI and Enneagram are really going to be more successful personality assessments. They started in the beginning and they're based on type approach or personality types. And they don't necessarily get into what we now know and have figured out and learned and studied through research around the way that personalities can be more better understood, more reliable, and more valid. The MBTI, although it's widely used, translates into 16 personality types. So it's kind of 16 boxes, if you will. And you can kind of think about it this way. You've got 9 billion people in the world. And we've all got lots of differences and nuances. And is it really effective to think that 9 billion people and all those differences and nuances and everything that goes into it actually applies to those or can fit into 16 boxes? That's really not possible. So when you think about type, or personality type and assessments that are using personality type, that's going to be a limitation to those that are out there on the market that use type. Enneagram classifies people into 9 interconnected personality types. And it's popular, but it doesn't necessarily have strong empirical evidence either. The DISC assessment is also really popular. Unfortunately, it's not scientifically validated and supported. It helps people understand their work styles and communication preferences, but it leaves out that fifth element, which is really important for how people work and why we do what we do, and the conflict we have between us, and that's the emotional reactivity, what others call neuroticism. The 5-factor model actually measures personality across these 5 broad dimensions. So you'll remember ocean is often referred to, so openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism, for lack of a better word, because that's how social scientists, psychologists talk about the response to negative experiences. We chose that basis, like Hogan, and it's why we chose it because it's most widely researched, most widely supported through all of the scientific studies out there, and it's the basis for our personality tools. Hexaco does have a lot more
Research.
scientific basis, if you will, or empirical evidence, but it's not as widely used, nor has it been as widely researched. It adds a 6th dimension, and that's really around power. So you might see that it's scientifically sound and valid, but not necessarily used as widely as, say, the Big Five or the 5-factor model. As I said, they give you kind of your own algorithm for understanding your default preferences and how you might achieve these tasks to become even more effective.